All you need to know about my mental health today is that I got up, got dressed, put on makeup, and got ready to meet a friend, only to realize it's not today I'm meeting her, but tomorrow. But I thought since I got ready anyway, why not shoot a video? Yeah! Today I want to speak about something that is interesting for many Korean learners, which is textbooks. Which Korean textbooks are good, which are bad, and which are just in between. So first of all, if you're a native English speaker, congratulations! You have the most choice among Korean textbooks. And I learned Korean in university, and we used the Sorbonne University Korean books, which I really didn't like. I mean, we had some kind of deal, like we could send exchange students to Sorbonne University, but in turn we had to buy their books. So yeah, that's the kind of university I went to. Anyway, the Sorbonne University books and the Yonsei University books, which we used, I didn't really like. Maybe it kind of had something to do with the teaching style in university as well. I just didn't feel like the books were structured in a way that made it easy to understand Korean and the language and learn the vocabulary, which was one of the reasons why I was really frustrated in the first 1 or 2 years studying Korean, because I thought, man, why am I so dumb? But later on I found out that with different textbooks it's actually really fun and totally manageable. So yeah. I don't have any of the Sorbonne University books anymore. I just sold them to some underclassmen because they have to use the same books every year. But the Pathfinder in Korean, the Iwa Yode, the Iwa Women's University book, is this one. So I'm warning you, I don't think this was a very good book. However, when I did my exchange year in Korea, we used the Yonsei University Korean book, and the one I used was the just Yonsei Korean 4-1. I think maybe 6 is the highest grade that they have. I'm not quite sure, but this one I really liked. I thought it was very well structured. Like you had some kind of text at the beginning of the lesson, I guess, and the keywords that were new in this lesson are written on the side. Then you have some exercises to kind of try to memorize the vocabulary that's new in that chapter. And then you have some exercises for the new grammar that appears in that chapter. And then other stuff like hearing exercise and reading exercise. The only thing I found a little bit confusing at first is that you have to do the grammar exercise, but the grammar explanation is like all the way in the back somewhere. And yeah, at first I was like, how am I supposed to do these exercises if I don't even know the grammar? But yeah, the Korean books, they often have like the actual book and the grammar section separated, like a whole, like there's a little booklet where everything is explained, or like here it's all the way in the back. So yeah, at first I thought, oh, this book is so stupid, it doesn't even explain the grammar that we learn. But yeah, the stupid one was me, and this book is pretty good. Another Korean grammar book that we used in the Korean University is Practice of Korean Grammar by the KICE Institute, and this is especially for the topic test. This is for the topic 2 test, so it's like the intermediate advanced level. So this is, especially in the later chapters, pretty hard. I'll be honest, for me, more than the grammar, like there's just grammar explained in here, and then you have test questions which look like the questions that you would see in the topic exam. But the reason I found this really difficult is, first of all, it's all in Korean, so you really need to have some basis already to be able to use this. And there's a lot of difficult vocabulary used in this book. So more than the grammar itself, the vocabulary was quite hard for me at first. But definitely if you work yourself through this book, you will pass the topic level 5 or level 6 with no problems whatsoever. So while I think that the Yonsei book I showed you before is the best to kind of get an all-around feeling for Korean language, when it comes to grammar in use, Korean grammar in use, I actually love the Daragwon series. So this is Korean Grammar and Use Intermediate. I also got the advanced version and they are amazing. First of all, they have the grammar categorized, which is very helpful. So for example, they have expressing contrast, expressing reasons, expressing resolution and intent. So you kind of know where you need to look if you're looking for a certain expression. And then they have some grammar, like some grammar particle and 2 dialogues which use this particle. Then they have some explanation like how to use it with verbs, how do you use it with nouns. And then they always have like some more information, for example. So for example, if you can use this particle, this grammar particle in more than one way, they will explain it in here. So for example, we have different kinds of because, and they tell you, okay, this because you need to use if it's if something good happened, and the second because you need to use if something bad happened, and the third because is if something neutral happened. Like they tell you, okay, we have these grammar particles which are kind of similar, but we will tell you the difference. So I really like the Darakwon grammar explanation. I think it's not as focused as the topic preparation grammar, but it's much more easy to understand. Like I would definitely recommend using this one to get a really good understanding of how the grammar works, and then work with something like the topic preparation book to really get the feel for the kind of questions that come up in the topic exam. And I told you I love the Darakwon series, and I really meant it. I also bought their 2000 essential Korean words for beginners. I think there's also an intermediate version. This one is also categorized into different categories, like house, people, communication, fashion, weather, and so on. And you always have the word, a translation. You also have the Chinese and Japanese translation if you're trying to learn that too. An example sentence, and also words that are similar or words that are often combined with the word here. At first it might seem a bit tedious to just like look at these things, but I think it's a really good exercise to just read the sentences and kind of, this really is for beginners, so it's good to kind of get a feeling for the Korean language and read and hear and see lots of different words. And the cool thing is at the end they have like a special section. For example, there are numbers, abbreviations, there are different verbs and how they change if you conjugate them. There are synonyms, there's a map of Korea, so lots of really cool information that you wouldn't find in a regular dictionary. So I really recommend this too. And last but not least, from Darakwon, and I swear I'm not paid to talk about them, I wish I was, I wish they would just send me their lovely books. It's the useful Chinese characters for learners of Korean, because why use a short title if you can fill a whole page with it? And the thing here is that lots of Korean words have root in the Chinese characters, so to be able to, for example, understand a newspaper or just the news really well, it does help to know some of the characters. So this is a good help because first of all it tells you which characters you should learn, because if I started by myself I really wouldn't know which characters are still used or still important in Korea nowadays. And they kind of have an explanation, tell you how to write it. You have an exercise sheet, so yeah, it's pretty simple, but I found this very helpful also. So yeah, that's a part of my Korean book collection. Some books I wanted to recommend to you and some books I wanted to warn you about. And as I said, I think it's really important to use a book that fits your personal learning type. If you're forced to use just any book, you might feel really frustrated because it doesn't really translate that well to you. As I said, I think you can't really go wrong with the Darakwon series, and of course nowadays there's also a lot of online content as well, so I'm sure you will find something that fits your taste. Anyway, that's it for now, and I'll see you next time. Bye!